Hello everyone, welcome back to Animals with Nianne. Here in the Dutch countryside I often see hedgehogs wandering around. Early in the morning or in the evening, just quietly making their way through the neighborhoods, through gardens, through fields. And it's always such a nice surprise to see them. They look so whimsical and adorable, especially when you can hear their nails hitting the ground when they're running around. So in today's videos I want to talk about the Western European hedgehog. What makes them so special, and how are they doing in the wild? Let's start with what makes hedgehogs so special. It's of course their look. The Western European hedgehog is pretty easy to recognize. They have a small round body, pointed nose, tiny legs, and of course those spines. An adult hedgehog can have around 5,000 to 7,000 spines on their back. Each spine is actually a stiff, hollow hair that's made out of keratin. The same stuff our nails are made of. When a hedgehog feels threatened, small muscles under the skin pull those spines up and the hedgehog will crawl into a little ball for protection. The spines are poisonous and they don't shoot them like porcupines do, so you don't really have to worry that much about the spines. Underneath all those spiky spines, they're actually pretty soft. Their fur on their face and belly is quite soft. And if you ever seen one up close, you can see that their snout is always moving. They're always smelling whatever is in the air, whatever is around them. Hedgehogs rely heavily on their sense of smell because the eyesight is not that great, especially during daylight. But they can hear insects moving from quite far away. There actually has been a time when a hedgehog didn't notice me and almost bumped into me if I hadn't made any noise to warn that I'm there. So I guess that experience really shows that hedgehogs don't have a great eyesight, but they can hear and they can smell pretty well. I feel like it's kind of dark in here, but I don't know. It's also rain. Oh, it's snowing outside. I thought it was raining. Oh, that's nice. But the snow is immediately melting, so yeah, kind of sad. Anyway. Hedgehogs aren't too picky where to live, as long as there's food around and that they have somewhere safe to hide. The Western European can be found across Western Europe, hence their name, including countries like the Netherlands, the UK, Germany, Belgium, and even some parts of Scandinavia. Here in the Netherlands I usually see them in gardens, forests, parks, and farmers' fields, just wherever there's food and that there are bushes or fences that they can hide. Yeah, they can live pretty much anywhere. They're quite chill. They like areas with a lot of leaves, grass, bushes, and so on, where they can build little nests to sleep and to hide. So don't feel pressure to always tidy up the leaves that fall during fall or autumn, depending where you come from and how you call it, because they actually need those leaves for their nest. Sometimes they also make nests in sheds or compost heap or in piles of logs and branches. Even though they can live in the countryside, they have also adapted to suburban area, but they do need connected habitats like paths or gaps on the fences because the roads and barriers break up their territory. Basically anywhere there's food, cover, and a safe passage, a hedgehog could make a home. That's why they're so cool to spot in the wild, because they can be anywhere, and are just really making use of the space that we share with them. The Western European hedgehog is crepuscular, which means they're active during the evening or in early morning hours, mainly when it's quiet and the light is low. During the day, they stay tucked away in their nests or other safe hidden spots where they can rest. When they're out, they cover a lot of ground. A single hedgehog can travel a few kilometers in one night while foraging. That's why things like connected gardens and gaps on their fences are so important for hedgehogs. Without them, it's so much harder for hedgehogs to move safely around. Hedgehogs are also solitary animals. They prefer being alone and usually only meet up during breeding season. After that, they go back to their independent lifestyle, go hunting on their own, exploring, and so on. And when the weather turns cold, they enter hibernation. They will curl up in the nest and lower their body temperature to save energy throughout the winter. It's an incredible adaptation for surviving in the cold winter months. Before winter, they need to eat a lot and thicking up, get fat, so they have plenty of energy for the winter and to survive that. In the wild, hedgehogs usually live up from 2 to 5 years, though some can reach up to 7 or 8 years if conditions are very good. Sadly, many hedgehogs don't make it past their first year because of things like predators, cars, or just because of the lack of food. Breeding season starts in April or May and can last through early autumn. When a male and a female meet, they do this funny little dance. The male circles around the female, often for quite a while she huffs and snuffles at him, sometimes for hours, before she decides she's interested in him. After mating, the female builds a nest that consists of leaves, grass, and so on, somewhere safe and hidden. About 4 to 6 weeks later, she will give birth to a litter of usually 4 to 5 hoglets. Those are how the babies are called. It can range from 1 to 7, so just anywhere between 1 to 7. That's how many hoglets they can have. The babies are born blind and pink. They have tiny soft spines just under their skin that will start to appear a couple of hours after birth. The mother nurses them up for about 4 to 6 weeks. And during that time, she is very protective. If she feels threatened, she may move her babies from one nest to the other. By the time they're around 6 weeks old, the young hedgehogs will start to venture out on their own and learning how to forage and explore independently. Hedgehogs are omnivorous, but the diet is mostly made of insects and other small invertebrates. In the wild, they'll eat things like beetles, worms, slugs, caterpillars, earwig, and sometimes even small frogs or bird eggs if they come across them. Basically, if the other creature moves slowly and can fit in their fat mouth, they will try to eat it. When I see them here in the countryside, they're often foraging in grass or under a pile of leaves, just snuffling around with their little noses and listening for movement. As I've mentioned before, their eyesight is pretty bad, so they use their sense of smell and hearing to find food. In gardens, hedgehogs are actually very good to have, very helpful. They're also often called the garden's helper or garden's friend because they get rid of the insects that damage your plants. People sometimes leave out food for the hedgehog, especially in autumn when they're building up fat for the winter. If you want to give food to hedgehog, there's special hedgehog food, but you can also give them cat food if you have that. Doesn't matter if it's wet or dry, but it should be without fish. Never give them milk or bread because that's not good. They can't digest lactose. This can actually make them very sick, so please don't ever give them milk or bread. And you can also put out a bowl of fresh water. That's something that will also need and make use of. Sadly, even though the Western European hedgehog is very common here, their numbers have been dropping quickly over the past decades. According to the IUCN Red List, the Western European hedgehog has been officially listed as near threatened since February 18, 2023. That means the population is declining enough to cause concern, especially in countries like the Netherlands, the UK, and France. The main reason behind this decline are habitat loss and fragmentation. Fences, roads, and modern gardens with less greenery make it hard for hedgehogs to survive. Traffic is also another big issue. Thousands of hedgehogs are being killed every year because of car collisions. And then there's also pesticides and more intense farming, which reduce the number of insects that they eat from. Recently in the Netherlands, it also has been in the news that there are fewer hedgehog rescue centers that are able to feed and care for sick hedgehogs because there just aren't enough volunteers to keep them running. That means that hedgehogs that would normally be rescued or rehabilitated might not get the care that they need, which adds even more pressure to the species. But the good thing is there's still a lot that we can do for the hedgehogs. You can leave a small gap between fences, or on the fences so hedgehogs can travel safely between gardens. It's also really good to keep a corner of your garden just wild. Piles of leaves, twigs, branches, so on. They make perfect hiding spots for these hedgehogs. Another great thing is to avoid using pesticides and slug pellets, because those things have a negative impact on the insects that hedgehogs need. You can also place a small hedgehog house where they can have a quiet spot to hibernate or to rest. And luckily there are some amazing organizations working to protect the hedgehogs and raise awareness about their decline. Here in the Netherlands we have an organization that's called Egelwerkgroep and also various hedgehog rescue centers across the country that play a very important role. They take in injured or sick or orphaned hedgehogs and care for them until they recover and release them back into the wild. Across Europe there are also larger organizations such as Hedgehog Street in the UK. Their main focus is connecting gardens and encouraging people to make their outdoor spaces more hedgehog friendly. With simple things like I've mentioned before, like holes and fences and so on. So if you live in Western Europe, next time you're walking through your garden in the early morning or around dusk, keep an eye out for the hedgehog. That little snuffling hedgehog might be exploring right under your nose. And it's an amazing reminder of how much wildlife we share our space with. I love seeing hedgehogs in my day-to-day life. They're quiet, curious, and just so peaceful to watch. And the more I learn about them, the more I realize how important it is to help these amazing, incredible, adorable, cute creatures and to give them safe spaces and help them when they need. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It will help me out so much and then I would appreciate it a lot. Yeah, I share videos about animals, their lives, the way that we can protect them. If you have a hedgehog visiting your garden, I would love to hear about it in the comments. As usual, I'll link the organizations in the description box and also the sources that I used for this video. If you have any questions or if you want to add something to this video, please leave a comment. And again, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time.